Sentinels are the best team in professional Valorant, and I've already made a video explaining their amazing defense. In this video, I wanted to break down their attack side because I think it is what really sets them apart from the rest of the world and has led to so many wins. Speaking of wins, the winner of my Recon Bundle subscriber giveaway is none other than my man Boneman 9000. Now, it's no surprise to me that Sentinels, being the best team in the world, have some of the best pistol rounds in the world as well, and they're really a thing of beauty to watch. So let's go ahead and see how they approach this one here on Bind against Rise. You can see that they are pretty split up across the map, and that is the first thing that I want to talk about, because Sentinels does not just, fast execute, hit a site as quickly as possible and try to overwhelm the other team on their pistol rounds. They play a lot more strategically, and they use their players to sort of anchor and rotate around better than most other teams. So you're going to see that there's an Astra watching long. They're going to have a couple players putting some pressure onto the hookah area, and then they also have two players over on the A site, and these two players have the Viper wall to play around, and they also are going to have a Viper orb here that is going to allow them to basically just walk directly into the U-Haul and check for players and establish some forward control. So as this round starts, you're going to see them making some moves towards the hookah area, and that's going to draw attention from the defenders towards B site. And they're also going to send the Sova drone and Viper through towards A. And so now they have two forward positions, and they also actually have this Astra in long. So they have a huge amount of information about where players are and where they are not. And as soon as the Viper gets to this very forward position over here on A site, the rotation is going to come in from these B players because they basically have full control over this entire part of the A site. And this means that they essentially have a free plant. They're gonna go ahead and charge forward and get the spike down. And you'll also notice that they have left the Astra all the way over here. And this is basically just to, further gain information in case players are going to push down and try to flank through hookah. So we're going to see that the Viper is super far forward, also creating sort of this buffer zone, very much like the Astra. So the Astra is essentially letting them know that they're protected from all of this area, and the Viper is letting them know that they are going to have to face pressure from all of this area. So these two players are sort of like an advanced scout for the rest of the team who is playing very compact here on the site. We're gonna see kind of a hilarious misplay from Dapper here on the Viper. A little bit too much crosshair, a little bit too much trigger discipline. Unfortunately, gets no kills, but he does give them information that there are a lot of players coming through from the defender spawn, and that is going to allow Sentinels to basically dedicate all their resources to defending that part of the map, and it pays off with a round victory. Now, another thing that makes Sentinels so good is their ability to sort of change the tempo at which they're playing and iterate on things that they've done in the past, and we're going to see that here in round number 2. They know that Rise is likely not going to buy up. They are on an eco round, and so Sentinels is going to have better weapons. And so instead of pushing super aggressively forward, they're going to play a little bit more slowly, but they're going to present a very similar look to what happened in round 1. And so we see right off the bat that they have created some noise into the hookah area, and they also still have their Astra watching long. And at the same time, they're going to do the same drone play over on A, up through U-Haul, with the same Viper smokes, but they are also sending an extra body here. They're sending their Reyna forward with the Viper into the U-Haul area, just in case Rise has decided to try and stop that play from happening. And with Spectres and a Reyna and a Viper, they're probably going to be able to run over anybody who is in the U-Haul area. Now, Rise has not decided to defend U-Haul, and so once again, we're going to see a very similar control established by Sentinels. They have the wall here, and they have the two players in U-Haul, and they're going to bring the spike in and plant. And then they also still have the Astra watching the flank here, and they also have a Sova watching the flank over here in case people had come into the showers area or take the teleporter here. And then of course we have the Astra's attention over here. So again, they sort of have this buffer zone of these two players protecting their flank, and then they have the core of their force taking over this important power point on A site. So heading into round 3, we've seen a good example of sort of probing for information and then playing based off of the information that you get or the picks that you're able to get. And in round 3, we're going to see a different tempo from Sentinels. You can see right off the bat, pretty different look here. They have the Astra in the same spot watching long, but they also have 4 players dedicated to pressuring into B through hookah. Instead of just probing for information, Sentinels is basically going to just immediately fully commit into hookah because they want to play this round much more aggressively. And this is really cool because it actually takes advantage of this Astra, who has previously just sort of been like a scouting player. But as Sentinels fully commits into hookah, and because there is so much pressure coming in through hookah, the defenders are going to likely fall away from it and try to wait for reinforcements to help them fight for the site. So one of the best places that the defenders can fall back into is the octagon area. And what this is going to do is it's going to put the defensive players directly into the path of the Astra. Now the defenders are going to be stuck essentially only in the elbow and defender spawn area, and this gives Sentinels a huge amount of control over how they play the post plant. So here we are on round number 5, and Sentinels is going to give us yet another tempo change. Rise is on an eco buy, and Sentinels knows that one of the ways that teams will try to play eco buys is to play aggressively and push out for information. So what Sentinels does is that they are going to basically just sit back and allow these worse guns to push into them and feed. And so right off the bat, we're going to see Zombs get an easy kill in long. Now, I wanted to show some examples of a game against Envy as well, who's a little bit higher caliber team than Rise, but you're going to see similar ideas executed from Sentinels, and this sort of proves that their theories about how to play the game are just extremely good and extremely effective. By the way, if you're enjoying this longer strategic content, consider checking out my Patreon page where supporters can ask me questions about Valorant or send clips for me to check out and talk about. So here we are on the pistol round. Sentinels is on the attack on Haven, and we're going to see a pretty similar look where they have a bit of a split approach, and they have sort of a couple advanced players getting information. So their Astra is watching Garage. They have caged across here to cover Tenz's advance up into short on the jet. And then they also have a couple players looking for information and taking fights middle. So we're going to see Sick win this aim duel against Ye. There's a big push forward from the Sentinels players. They're making a lot of noise in middle. They jump out a window, and it looks like they're rushing the B site, which kind of makes sense because they got the pick there. But we also see that Tenz is advancing slowly up a short. And this is that idea of having a couple of different attack points and then rotating based off of which one makes the most sense. This noise middle has forced Envy to start to rotate to reinforce the site. We can see a bunch of their players coming off of A and C to get towards B, and all the while, Tenz is advancing onto the A site. He has full access and full control of the A site. Because the rotations came in, he also communicated that there was a player that rotated towards B like this, who's making noise. And you can see that Sentinels has fallen back out of their forward position there and is going to rotate towards their player who has established site control on A. You can see it's a completely free plant. They have this very easy execute onto the site. They don't have to use any utility because Tenz has gotten them the early information, and it gives them a basically free pistol round. All right, well, that certainly got me hyped to watch Sentinels play in Berlin. If you enjoyed the video, let me know with a like or a comment down below, and thank you as always for watching.